Let's get rid of those plosives. What's happening, everybody? David here. Have you guys ever recorded a track or a podcast or a song or anything, and it is just full of the sounds you make whenever you hit a P or a D too hard into the microphone? Those are called plosives. I'm going to teach you today how to get rid of those. First things first, the best way to get rid of them is to invest in something called a pop filter or a pop screen. It looks like this. It literally just stops the air from reaching the microphone. Now, there's a few other things that you can do to help with that as well without doing it in post. I use a windsock on the end of my Electro Voice RE20, and that specific microphone also has a built-in windsock as well. So this is probably overkill, but I like it. I found that it helps me a little bit. In combination with my pop filter, it does a pretty good job of killing those plosives. Also, if you notice my microphone, I'm not talking directly into my microphone like this. I'm talking at a skew. I'm talking kind of in front of my microphone, across my microphone. This is an end address microphone. If I talk directly into the end of it, you're going to hear a lot of that sound. So if you turn it at an angle and you kind of talk past the end of the microphone, it also helps keep those plosives out of your dialogue. So let me take this windsock off and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's go ahead and arm a track to record. I'm going to adjust my microphone so I'm talking directly into it without a windsock, without a pop screen. Peter, please place the order for a pepperoni pizza pronto. So you probably heard right away how that sounds directly addressed into the microphone, and you're going to feel a lot of that. You can put your hand in front of your mouth right now and say pepperoni pizza, and you're going to feel the wind hit your hand. Those are the plosives we're trying to get rid of. Let's jump into waveform. So now that I'm in waveform view with my windsock back on, you're going to be able to see right away anytime a P was struck and that plosive was delivered directly straight into the end of the microphone, it looks a lot like this almost every single time. You can jump over to this one. You can tell that's a P. You can go through and find these real quick in post. There they are, all over the place. There's another simple way to find them too. It's using the spectral frequency display. If I go up here and I click on this little icon here, this will pull up my spectral frequency display. I can also do it by hitting Shift D, and that will pull it up. There's also another way you can do it. If you look at this little drag bar here, pull it up that way. So you can get the spectral frequency display a lot of different ways, and it's very useful, especially in post-production when you're trying to clean up stuff like this right there that you don't even really see in the waveform view. It's little pops and frequencies like that that show up really well in spectral frequency display. You can check out a tutorial on how to use it here. Anyway, let's get to our plosives. So I can see real quick through my spectral frequency display that this plosive is very loud in the low end of it. You can see that by the brighter yellow here is what's really making that pop sound. Let's listen. So you hear that here. If I loop it, it's going to just sound awful. But you can tell what I'm talking about. And if you go through here and you look at all the other plosives, which are very easily identifiable in the waveform, you can tell they all have that similar trait. Let's find another one, just to prove that I'm right. There it is. See this little bump of yellow right there? We can find our plosive here, and there's a very simple way we can eliminate it through the spectral frequency display. Just like we found this little yellow down here. I'm going to highlight it. Now I can do my auto heal feature, which is Control U. And that kills that a little bit. Let's listen. Place the... So it sounds a little bit better. I can just take the volume of that and pull it down 10 dB. And it kind of helps it a little bit too. There's a couple of different ways that are better than this. Let me show you. So if I highlight this, go to Effects, Filter and EQ, Fft Filter. So in the Fft Filter in Adobe Audition CC, they have a pretty great preset that helps you kind of get rid of most of this. And it's called Kill the Mic Rumble. If I select it, you can see right here, it's just a very sharp high-pass filter that starts at 100 Hertz, cuts everything off at a very sharp grade, 100 down to 80. Everything below that is gone. Watch what happens when I apply this effect. It basically kills that. Let's listen. Place the order. So, Effects, Filter EQ, Fft, Kill the Mic Rumble does a pretty decent job of taking care of some of those plosives. It reduces it quite a bit. There's one third option that I like really well. Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to highlight this again, go to Effects, go back to Filter and EQ, but I'm going to pull up the Parametric Equalizer this time. And now what I do with the Parametric Equalizer is Pretty similar to the FFT, it's just not quite as harsh, and I'll tell you why. If you do the kill the mic rumble every time you want to get rid of a plosive, not all plosives are created equal, and sometimes it's going to cause some degradation in the audio if you kill too much of it. So I like to go into my parametric EQ, right around 40 hertz. I'm going to take this and just bottom it out, and I'm going to stretch out the width on my parametric Q. Doesn't matter where it is, just something like that. So I'm going to stretch it out somewhere in the 1 neighborhood like that. Then I'm going to just go over to about 200 hertz, and I'm going to pull this down about 5 decibels, something like that. You can really do whatever you like here. I'm just kind of using out of the blue figures that have worked for me in the past, and I'm going to widen the Q on this as well, so it's kind of got a wider feeling for that frequency. Okay, so now let's see what it does whenever I apply this. So you can see it affected it different than that kill the mic and different than going into spectral frequency and just reducing it that way. This is almost a little more subtle, but to me more effective. Place the order. So what I really like about doing it through the parametric equalizer is you have a lot more control over how you want it to function. And of course, you can change stuff through the FFT as well and do it however you like. Parametric EQ gives you this nice bend, this nice soft curve, and you can kind of adjust it if you find it's not getting quite enough of it. You can add a little more cut around the 500 mark, something like that. And it does a pretty good job of getting rid of those plosives. Now, you can still hear it there, and it's because I took my windsock off and I wasn't using a pop screen whenever I recorded this. So how do we get rid of all of this pretty easily? Well, the first thing that I would do is go into the filter EQ, parametric equalizer, set up what I call a remover. And you can see here, it's kind of just what we built a minute ago, but I have also saved it as a preset in Adobe Audition, and I've saved it as a favorite. You can see that right here. I've saved it as Shift C. So now if I want to go through and kill some of these plosives, I can hit Shift C, and it does a great job of reducing it. If that's not enough for me, I can hit Shift C again, and it reduces it even more. If it's still not enough, do it again. Now let's listen. Please. It's about 1,000,000,000% better. So finding what you like, first of all, saving it as a preset, it really helps you go through and clean up all of this stuff real quick. All right, let's do a comparison. Here's the one I'm going to affect. Here's my original. Let's go through and clean this up. I'll speed through this process here. All right, here's the original. Peter, please place the order for a pepperoni pizza pronto. And now, after we killed all those plosives, Peter, please place the order for a pepperoni pizza pronto. Peter, please place the order for a pepperoni pizza pronto. Peter, please place the order for a pepperoni pizza pronto. It's a no contest. So remember, there are a few ways that you can do it through Adobe Audition CC. The best way to prevent plosives: invest in a pop screen, and if you'd like, get a windsock as well. You don't really need the windsock as much as you need the pop screen. If you have an end address mic, talk into it at a slight angle, like you're talking past the microphone. And if a plosive sneaks through, there's 3 ways that you can tackle it in Adobe Audition CC. Spectral frequency display, you can go in, manually remove all those plosives, or go to Effects, Filter and EQ, FFT Filter, kill the mic rumble, or Effects, Filter EQ, Parametric Equalizer, and build your own remover, plosive killer, whatever you want to call it. It works great. And remember, don't be afraid to use it a few times on each plosive if you've made it through the parametric EQ if it's not quite what you want. I like using that one because it gives you a little more control. But really, whatever works best for you is what you should use. And if you have an idea of something that I didn't go over in this, please leave it down below in the comments. And remember, every voice is different, so every plosive might be different too. So you might have something that I didn't touch on in here. Call, text, email, let me know what you think. Thanks a lot.